You have a criminal case and you're wondering what the stages to a criminal case are in Etowah County, Alabama. I'm going to go over Etowah County specifically because every county is different. So first, I'm going to give you a look or a chart that sort of explains how things go. I'll explain this later, but refer back to this if you need to take a screenshot. So first, the investigation. The investigation is when law enforcement is investigating, checking out to see whether or not they think a crime has been committed. Either the sheriff's department or a police department will do things such as a search warrant, seize property, things like that to see is there enough to charge. If they determine there's enough, then they will issue a warrant and arrest you. A lot of times after the warrant is put in place, you can get in touch with the investigator, find out what your bond is, so you can get in touch with your bondman before you are arrested so you can make plans to get out more quickly. Step 3 is first appearance. After you're arrested, you're generally going to get a letter. And again, this is felony specific, a letter from the courts that says you've got a court date on this date, and it's going to say first appearance. On that date, the judge is going to ask you if you plan to hire your own attorney or if they need to appoint one for you. If they need to appoint one for you, you will fill out paperwork to see if you financially qualify on that date. If you hire an attorney before that date, then you don't even have to show up to first appearance. Next, bond hearings. That's if it's necessary. If you're in jail, your attorney will file a bond motion to try to get you out pending your trial. Next is you may get a letter that says you're on an admin docket. And the admin docket is just a date that the court has calendared for your last day to file for a preliminary hearing. Preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. I generally will advise my clients to waive the preliminary hearing in Etowah County. If we waive the preliminary hearing, then we'll get discovery more quickly. So for instance, even in a preliminary hearing, if the court determines there's not probable cause for your case to go to grand jury and it's dismissed, they can still go to grand jury and indict you. And the problem then is at that point, you've got to make a new bond. So all that money you spent on a bond before, gone. You've got to file for a new bond. Next is a grand jury. A grand jury is a panel of 18 citizens who will listen to evidence, and it's met in secret. You don't have the opportunity to go testify. The DA gets to put in whatever type evidence they want, and the people of Etowah County will determine whether there's probable cause for your case to proceed to trial. If there is, then you will be indicted. If there's not, then you'll get a no bill, which means your case does not proceed. Step 6 is an indictment. If they found probable cause, then you will get an indictment, which is a grand jury found probable cause for your case to proceed. Step 7 is arraignment, or if you're under 21, youthful offender. If your arraignment is a formal hearing where the court will read out loud to the public what you're charged with so that they can't charge you in secret. Normally, we will file a waiver of arraignment so you don't have to go to that court date. If you miss that court date by not showing up or by not filing the waiver of arraignment, you will get a warrant. And you will sit in jail probably pending your trial. If you're under 21, this is the time where we file a youthful offender application. We can't file a youthful offender application until after you've been indicted. If it's in district court, we can't file it yet. Step 8 is a plea docket. A plea docket is after the arraignment and is where you'll show up and get an offer from the DA. And you can take it or not take it, negotiate. There's all sorts of negotiations that will take place. You may get an offer before the hearing. You may not get it until that day. Generally, your trial is 2 weeks later. If you don't take the offer, then you've got a trial. This is to determine whether you're guilty or innocent. The judge is the only one who determines your punishment, and that takes place at sentencing. Sentencing will take place after a trial, or if you plead guilty, it will take place according to your plea agreement. At sentencing, a state probation officer will write a report and recommend a sentence, and the court will listen to the DA, your defense attorney, evidence, including probation officer, to give a sentence, to give your sentence. Next, post-trial motions. You've got 30 days after your trial to file for a motion for new trial. And you've got 42 days after your trial to file for an appeal.